Good morning on a beautiful Saturday in Phoenix. My friend David told me that he saw a newly added Acura Legend on the You Pull and Pay website. It was fresh as of 2 days ago, so I came right down here to check it out. But on the way in, I'm noticing a very customized RL here with lime green treatment. So let's go check out this Legend. I believe it's a special edition, 95 model specific year. The import section is straight ahead here, so I'm gonna have to just kind of work my way from one end to the other. I think he did say it's row 40, so don't know how I'll find it, but let's figure it out. I don't plan on looking for anything real heavy duty today. In fact, the main thing on my mind is a battery tie down for my, oh, that's a clean little early Accord. I need a battery tie down for a project car, 94 Legend GS. We'll see if we can find anything that's compatible for it. But it's always fun to come down here and just kind of see the new inventory in case anything particularly cool comes up. Speaking of, this is a really nice little older Civic. Got the fog, some nice Arizona patina on it. 5-speed manual. Such a cool car. There's a tail end of speaking of special editions, there's an RL SE. You can tell because it also has the two-tone white and silver paint. Also, these wheels were special or unique to the 1998 only model year RL special edition. This is right before the RL went through a mid-cycle refresh and got a little bit different front and rear end. Super great cruisers. I love these cars, and I've always kind of wanted an SE of that era too. No luck yet on finding that Legend. Let's take a walk up this aisle and see what we dig up. Ooh, I see a green Gen 2 sedan down here. As a matter of fact, this might actually be it. I see it's a 95, but clearly, oh, it is it. It's the two-tone green color. So the 95 Legend Special Edition could be had in either taffeta white up top and silver on the bottom, or this Sherwood green up top and Canterbury green on the bottom. This is very faint, but you can tell it is a two-tone car. Now obviously the wheels are wrong. It shouldn't have had steelies back here, and this front wheel looks to be off of a 96 to 98 3.2 TL, which is way off. But here we are, a fresh Legend in the yard as of 2 days ago. I can already tell it doesn't have a battery hold down that I'm looking for up here, so that sucks. But I'm gonna root around a little bit and see if I find anything worthwhile. The Special Edition Legend also, because it was basically just a glorified L model, kind of a last gasp for the Legend as it was sunsetting in 1995, they added a couple little things like embroidered floor mats, which are obviously no longer here. And I think it had standard keyless entry or something. I found a flyer on it once. Other than that, it was largely just an L sedan, which was not even the top trim. Back in those days, the 95 model year had the L, the LS, the GS, and the SE for the Legend. And there was no such thing ever as a GS coupe or an LS, or I'm sorry, an SE coupe, as much as you'll kind of see that sometimes in online listings for people who don't know. Yeah, not much left worth taking on this one, I think. Except a spoiler, which I'd love to have. Wow, that was an ordeal. I forget that the sedan spoiler has the third brake light in the middle, so there was a bunch of wiring strung all throughout the trunk, including connecting the tail lights, running to this third brake light up here. on these ones with the spoiler. Sorry for the airplane noise above. There's also a relay, so when you open the trunk, it lowers the antenna so that you aren't chopping your antenna off or bending it. So that's all part of this whole harness here that I was able to rip and tear and yank out with the limited tools that I have. Although the win of the day is I did find a crescent wrench that I'm gonna probably take home, a little rusty. But what else do I need from this car? I know my friend Alan is collecting broken or functioning antenna masts. Nice straight body on this car, as one would expect from a Arizona Legend. Passenger side view mirror is already gone. We'll do a little rooting around here on the cabin. This is 194,000 miles. Like I mentioned, the SE was just an L, so it has the manually adjustable climate control knobs here, as opposed to the LS would have had a digital readout with just one knob to set the temperature. Also, the wood grain, or wood grain, let's use air quotes here, is actually in the L and SE models. It's just a plastic, darkly tinted veneer, if you can call it that. Plastic, basically. This car looks to have been in service. Well, that expired in 2015. This registration expired in 16. Paperwork from Freedom National. Anyway, I don't know that there's much in here that I'm gonna need. The dash is already cracked. The horn buttons are sometimes in high demand, as are things like this climate control bezel, but this one's already got the typical cracks going on with it. So I might leave this one for the next taker. I don't think there's much else I need from it. Clearly this one had a window regulator issue because somebody at one point put something on here with tape. Somebody did a do-it-yourself ski pass-through here. The Legend did not come with the trunk pass-through, but you can see how easy it would have been to do, at least in the States. I believe the Canadian Legends did get a ski pass-through there. Somebody took the liberty of creating a pass-through there. Otherwise, there's a look at the interior for this very tired old Legend. I am gonna get my hands on this rare gold emblem on the trunk just for the heck of it. Here's the best place to see the cut line where the two green colors met. Everywhere else on the body there's a piece of molding or trim that hides the tape line, but this was the only spot on the special edition where they didn't have the ability to do that, so you can actually see the two colors joining each other. I did also notice something very unique. This one actually had gold-plated window moldings down here. These are usually just chrome-plated on the Gen 2 Legend. This car had a lot of gold treatment. Also, you'll notice that the front grille surround was gold too, which basically deletes anything that was ever chrome on this car, if I remember correctly, except for maybe this keyhole on the door. They even did the base for the antenna here. You can see it's kind of worn away, but that was definitely gold at one point. And that's gonna be it for this car. We're gonna take what we want, leave the rest. This is paying our last respects to Legend number 9832 from 1995. Served its owners well with 194,000 miles and is now headed off to Acura heaven. Bonus find was a motion picture soundtrack from Pitch Perfect in 2012. Great movie, by the way. Just for kicks, I ran a Carfax report on that Legend just because, you know, every junkyard car has a story to tell. This one, I was curious the history because the body's super nice, consistent with a rust-free Arizona car, and truly it was its entire life. Looks like the car was leased April 11th of 1995 in Glendale at 104 miles. Stuck around the state the whole time. It did have an accident 5 years later. No details shared there. What's interesting though is the car today shows 194,000 miles. In 2011 it had 193, but there was an erroneous, perhaps clerical issue here with the new owner in 2012 at 225. Car changed hands a few times here, and eventually made its way back to Phoenix from a city down on the outskirts, and was issued a not actual mileage title in 2014. Things kind of went downhill from there. It stuck around for a couple registration cycles. It was actually serviced 8 years ago in 2015, and then went off the radar for quite a while till just earlier this year, and was issued another not actual mileage title. So that poor legend had a pretty rough life later on, but it looks like was consistently maintained and passed emissions all the way up until almost 200,000 miles. And anyway, that car is now going to live on in future legend projects, and so it did the trick for me. One more really quick note on the Legend Special Edition I wanted to point out is that that car does not appear anywhere in the 95 Acura Legend dealer brochure. It just simply is omitted here. There's mention of all the other trim levels here, obviously, but nothing mentioned about this special edition. I can only imagine that it's because it happened later in the production year as Acura was shifting toward focus on the new RL, and it was really just a way to get rid of some of those L model units before the assembly line transitioned to the new model. The only piece of literature that I've ever found about the SE was actually in this Acura Driver, Acura Driver magazine, spring of 1995. So the TL was just on the verge of its debut there. And this is a little section here that talks about the Legend SE. It says a little bit about the background. We started with the impressive style, engaging comfort, exciting performance, and gratifying luxury amenities of Legend L, widely known as a remarkably well-equipped sedan. Then we added a careful mix of desirable accents and genuine Acura accessories to make the special edition stand out even farther from the crowd. So then here's the specific stuff they added. There were 2 color combos, like I mentioned in the video earlier. And along with that, it says they selected 7-spoke forged alloy wheels for a feeling of uninhibited flair, a trunk-mounted remote-operated 6-disc CD changer, custom carpeted floor mats with a special edition logo to grace the interior, and a remote-operated keyless entry system to let your special edition greet you warmly and make you feel a little special yourself. That's kind of cute. Anyway, kind of a rare car. I see these pop up every once in a while. My friend Greg had one recently in the white color combo. Kind of a car I wouldn't mind having someday just to cross it off the list. But too bad that one today ended up in the junkyard, although I'm glad I got some stuff off it. So thanks all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.